And today we're going to learn about fractions. Our goal by the end of this lesson, we will all be able to divide shapes into equal parts and know what halves, thirds, fourths, and quarters are. Whole, half or halves, thirds, fourths, quarters, and fraction. Our essential question for today is, how can we divide shapes into equal parts? Vocabulary that we need to learn. What is a fraction? A fraction is a part of a whole. When you divide the whole into equal parts, you get a fraction. We have a whole, something that has not been divided or anything missing. We have two halves. Each piece has been divided into two equal parts. We have 3/3. Each pizza has been broken into 3 equal parts, and 4/4. Each pizza has been broken into 4 equal parts. Half of each pizza has been eaten. How many halves are needed to make a whole? Well, let's see. We know that there are 2 pieces that will make a whole. So 1/2 of a piece is needed to make these pizzas whole. Each of these pizzas whole. 1/3 of each pizza has been eaten. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We know each pizza has 3 equal parts. If one part is missing, we must need 1/3 pizza to make it a whole. A fourth of each pizza has been eaten. How many fourths are needed to make this pizza a whole? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 equal pieces on each pizza. How many pieces are needed to make this a whole? Well, 1/4. 1 out of 4 are needed. And same with the rectangle pizza. 1/4 are needed. 1 out of 4. 1/4 of each pizza has been eaten. 1/4 and 1/4 are the same. They both equal the same amount. If you noticed, 1/4 and 1/4 are both shaped the same, cut the same, into 4 pieces. 1/4 is equal to 1/4. So this pizza should have 4 pieces, just like the last one. We divide it into 4 equal pieces, and again, 1 piece is missing, so 1/4 of the pizza is missing. Now it's asking me to divide the shapes in half. This is something I'd like you to practice in your journal later. And draw a circle, a square, and a triangle. When you divide your shape in half, I would like you to put a dot at the top in the middle of your square, right here at the top line in the middle, and on the bottom line in the middle. And you'll draw a line going down. Pretty simple, huh? That just helps make it so you can eyeball, and if you do make a mistake, like you put your dot over here, oops, sorry. If you accidentally put your dot over here and it's not equal, it's easy to move the dot to the left or to the right. It's easier than moving the whole line. I'm going to shade my half a square, and I'm going to put a dot at the top of the circle and a dot at the bottom of the circle to start the process of dividing my circle in half. And now I'm going to draw a line and shade. A triangle, you put a dot at the vertex at the top of the circle and then a dot in the middle of the line on the bottom or side. And then you put a line going down and you shade. And we always label 1, 2 parts, 1, 2 parts, 1, 2 parts. So this is 1/2 of each shape has been shaded. Divide the shapes into thirds. Thirds is just like we did for the halves, except for now we're going to put 2 little dots on the top line and try to divide it into equal parts going across. We do the same at the bottom. We have eyeballed this into thirds, and then we draw a line going down and we shade. And then we're going to move over to the circle. When I divide a circle, a cake, or anything into parts that's round, I always look for the center. And then I put a line at the top and I go down 1/3 around and 1/3 around. This gives me a good gauge, and now I can draw my lines. And I will shade 1/3 of the circle. The triangle, we put our dot at the top on the vertex, and then on our bottom line, just like we did with the square, we are going to put 2 more dots, and to divide that, we'll put our lines going down and shade it. Then we always label our parts to help us remember what the equal parts are. You'll learn this later, but that is what the denominator is. How many equal parts? Divide the shape into fours. We have a square. We're going to put our dots right in the middle of each side. I have the top and bottom, and then I do the sides. So all 4 sides have a dot right in the middle, and then I just match my dots up by drawing the lines, and I have 4 equal parts. And I have shaded that. The circle, again, I just put the dot in the middle to help me make sure that I continue to be in the middle. And then I put my dots at the top and bottom and on the left and right, and I draw a line and a line. I try to make sure that they are crossing where I had put that dot in the middle. That tells me that I'm getting some equal parts, or it helps make sure that I get equal parts. Then I shade in the shape. Now this one is a really fun shape, the triangle. To break the triangle into 4 equal parts, I'm going to show you a little trick that I know. We're going to put a dot in the middle of each side, and then we will connect those dots with lines, and we get 4 triangles. Isn't that cool? Let's shade in 1/4 of the triangle and label our parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And each shape is has 1/4 shaded. Quarters. Now remember, quarters and fourths are basically the same. So we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to put our dots on each side and draw our lines from top to bottom, from left to right, and shade in 1/4. which is equal to 1/4. I think of a quarter when I think of money. A quarter, you have 4 quarters in a dollar. A quarter is 1/4 of a dollar. Okay, I'm doing my circle now. I put my dot in the middle, my dots around the edges, and then a line going down the middle, a line going across the side, from side to side, and I shade. And now we're doing our triangle again. We're breaking it into 4 equal parts, into 4 quarters. I put a dot in the middle of each side, connect the dots, shade in 1/4 as the directions have asked me to do, label all my pieces, and we have a quarter shaded on each shape. These shapes are divided into fourths, quarters, halves, and thirds. How much pizza has been eaten? We started off with a whole. We broke it into 2 equal parts. And so that means there are 2 2's, but half is gone. So now there's 1/2. If you got 1/2 of the pizza has been eaten, pat yourself on the back. Good job. How much pizza has been eaten? There are 2 ways to describe this. Can you remember the 2 ways? Well, we have 1, there are 4 equal parts, or 4 equal quarters. When you say quarters, you don't have to say equal because a quarter means an equal fourth. So it's 1/4 or 1/4 has been eaten. Oh, how much pizza has been eaten? We have 3 equal parts, and one of those parts is missing. So that's what's been eaten. So that would be 1/3. Did you get that right? Yay! Go ahead and pat yourself on the back if you got that right. How can we divide the shapes into quarters? I'm going to move a little faster through this. I just want to review so you can do this on your own. To divide the shapes into quarters, put your 4 dots right on the middle of each side, draw your lines, and shade one. Oh, I'm going to keep going with my dots and lines. 4 dots on your circle, and my triangle. Remember, the dots go right in the middle of each side, and then you draw your triangle, and that is 1/4 because there are 4 equal parts, and I shaded 1/4. How can we divide the shapes into halves? Well, your dots, your line, your dots, your line, your dots, your line, and shade. 1/2. How can we divide the shapes into thirds? Your dots, making them equal spacing apart, your lines. Oh, the circle was a little more difficult. We had to put the dot in the middle for the thirds. So your dots and then your lines. The triangle, your dots, divide the bottom side into thirds and then draw your lines, and then we'll shade, and it's 1/3. How can we divide the shape into fours? Start off with the square with putting dots on each, in the middle of each side. Draw your lines and you have fours. Circle, put your dots on each side and you have fours. And then your triangle, how will we divide a triangle into fours? We'll put a dot in the middle of each line, each side, and then draw your lines and you get 4 triangles. And then we're going to shade in the 3 shapes, 1/4 on each, and that's 1/4. Why is a half a pizza bigger than a fourth of pizza? This is a challenge question, but I think you know. Why is a half a pizza, this one is the half a pizza, bigger than a fourth of a pizza? 2/4 equal 1/2. A fourth is half of a half. Did you get the answer right? If you got the answer right, you can dojo your teacher and say, and tell us your answer. I hope you enjoyed our time together this morning. I look forward to seeing you next year at school, but I'll see you again in our next lesson. Have a good day.